The recent monolith craze has taken over the internet. It seems that every other day a new photograph emerges showing these strange structures, leading people to give their ideas on what they think they are and where they're coming from. A man sent me an interesting photo that contains this anomaly. He said that going back a few months ago he was watching the pyramid live cams when he noticed something strange in the sky. He claims that he's an avid watcher of live cams from across the world, and couldn't explain the strange objects that he saw hovering above the giant pyramids. He brushed it off at first but said it did play on his mind. Fast forward a few months, and after hearing about all the recent monoliths, he says that it has a similar shape to all these structures that have been appearing across our planet. Before the whole monolith craze, he claims that it threw him off at first as it looked like a giant pillar was hovering above the pyramids. Every so often unidentified flying objects will appear above the Great Pyramids at Giza, and every time it gets people talking. This is mainly because the pyramids themselves are shrouded in mystery, with many researchers putting forward alternative ideas for how they were built. It is strange though that this object appeared above the pyramids, and then several months later objects that look similar to this start appearing all across the planet. It's likely a coincidence that the two structures look similar, but only recently another man in the United States claimed to have captured a UFO that looks like a monolith in the sky, again saying that the structure looks very similar to the ones currently being found. Some UFO researchers have said that these cylinder structures are one of the most commonly shaped UFOs, saying that for years everyday people have been reporting cylinder-shaped UFOs, and that these sightings normally follow a similar theme. The cylinder crafts being able to hover in the sky motionless without making a sound, and being able to make a quick exit if they're approached by things like fighter jets. Regardless, it's an interesting photograph of an unidentified flying object above some of the most impressive ancient creations on our planet. The majority of people now believe these are nothing more than the work of pranksters, but as some have pointed out, there's still some inconsistencies with this idea. One of the main ones being, how is an artist or a group of artists pulling this off? These structures have appeared in various different countries and within a few hours of each other, and this has caused some to rule out the idea that it's a single person doing this. After all, how could they ship and install these things within a matter of hours of each other? The next idea is that a group of artists situated in different countries are working together to install them, and although this idea sounds like the most likely one, a group hasn't come forward to claim that it's them that's building them. Some artists and companies have created similar looking designs, and even said they will build you your own one for the large sum of $45,000. But because these artists are based in one country, it's said they're not behind all of the monoliths being installed, with others saying that they're just trying to make quick money from the craze. The other idea is one that I covered in a previous video, and that's that recently these monoliths have caused a lot of theories and speculation to be thrown around, and news stations have noticed this and tried to get in on the craze. The idea here is that certain news stations have paid people to create these structures so they can be the first ones to cover them, meaning that they'll get the maximum views because they'll know where the structure will be installed as they're the ones paying for it. This means they get the first scoop and can claim to be the first ones to cover it. One person who works for a news station was quoted as saying the following: "The Utah monolith made people put forward all kinds of different theories to try and explain it. But what news stations saw was that these structures were creating a lot of engagement online. All of this talk gave news companies an idea. Why don't we start creating our own monoliths and placing them in random locations? And because we know where we'd be placing them, we'd be the first ones to cover them, giving us the most impressions and causing viewerships to increase." This is exactly what happened here. Some media abroad aren't doing so well on numbers, so it was a great idea for them to create their own structures and place them in locations close to their headquarters. It would cost between $200 and $1,000 to create one of these monoliths, but the payback in clicks would easily cover the costs, and also they could claim that they were the first ones that covered it. It's a win-win for them." End quote. skeptics still say these structures are fake. This theory is the one that skeptics believe in, saying that these structures are nothing more than pranks being played on the general public. So where does this idea come from? Skeptics point to the fact it's likely that the Utah monolith would have been discovered by now, and that the likelihood is that it was installed within the last few years. They say that the pranksters wouldn't have wanted to place this structure in plain sight, as this would have made it too obvious it was fake. So they found a location that not many people visited and decided to place it in the ground. The Utah monolith was surrounded by many crevices, and although the structure itself is over 15 feet tall, it would have been quite hard to spot if you was just walking past and not taking note of your surroundings. There's another idea that these structures are similar to the Cicada 3301 organisation, and this is because one recently turned up in Australia that had cryptid coordinates on it. Those looking to find the coordinates and see where they lead to will struggle though, as once again, same as many before it, this monolith has disappeared, prompting different theories to be put forward for why they keep vanishing. So what do you make of this monolith that appeared above the pyramids at Giza? Do you think it's linked to the events playing out around the world, or is it just a coincidence? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.